Hello book lovers, I am Khodakivska. This is Cat Josette the Great Reader. Welcome on our channel. You have probably noticed that there is one book I had already talked about in my previous videos. Well, I don't know what's happening because every time I start reading this book, something happens. My friends give me another more popular, modern, more recognizable books and I put this book aside. I hope I will read this book in November. I don't promise, but I do hope. Well, for all those who haven't seen my previous videos, I will repeat once again. I will tell you some words about this writer and this book in particular. Well, for the 1000th time, guys, Camilo Castelo Branco and Mysteries of Lisbon. I have French edition. It sounds like Mystère de Lisbon. So if you know French, you can read it in French and have practice. Well guys, Camilo Castelo Branco was a Portuguese writer. He was really famous one. All his books are full of twists and this is I've got from some information about this writer. His books are also full of wit, dark humor and drama. I don't know how about this book, as far as it got from synopsis. This book is about three characters, a jealous countess, wealthy businessman and orphan boy. All these characters connect with each other with some mysterious object and the events are taking part in Brazil, Portugal, France and Italy. Well, I hope I will succeed in reading this mysterious book in November and after that I will tell you all my thoughts, musings concerning this book. Well, the next author I'm going to tell you about and the book I'm going to read in November is When I Find You by Emma Curtis. Well guys, but first of all I would like to share with you how I discovered this brilliant writer for myself. The point is that from time to time I do love to discover new names, new writers and books for myself and then share it with such book lovers as I am. Well, last year I spent my vacation in Albania and when I was coming back I was wandering in a bookstore at the Albanian airport and then my eyes found the previous book, the debut book by Emma Curtis, One Little Mistake. Well guys, if you have already read the debut book by Emma Curtis, One Little Mistake, please share your emotions, your musings in the comments below. If you haven't read this amazing book, I will tell you some words about it, maybe you will be interested in, and then you will enjoy reading this book to the fullest as well as I did. Well, I loved all and everything about One Little Mistake by Emma Curtis. The main characters are described in a real masterful manner. The plot is really awesome. How one little mistake can change all and everything. The main character named Vicky Seagrave has everything she needs in her life. She has 3 children, beloved husband and great job. But one little mistake leads to big problems, tragic consequences and almost ruins her life. And the writing style of the debut book by Emma Curtis, One Little Mistake, is absolutely perfect. It's easy, intriguing, full of twists and wise quotes. Well guys, if you haven't read One Little Mistake by Emma Curtis, I highly recommend you to read it because I bet you will love it. Well, this year I also spent my vacation in Albania and when I was coming back I came over to the same bookstore at the Albanian airport and I asked shop assistant to have books by Emma Curtis, in particular When I Find You, and they answered me that they have sold all her books and they mentioned that all books by Emma Curtis were sold like a freshly baked buns. Well guys, I'm already smitten with the synopsis of this book, so I'm sure I will love reading it. When Laura wakes up after her office Christmas party and sees men's shirt on the floor, she's horrified. But this is no ordinary one-night stand regret. Laura suffers from severe sight blindness, a condition that means she's completely unable to identify and remember faces. So the man she spent all night dancing with and kissing, the man she thought she had brought home, was pink shirt. But the shirt on the floor is blue. And now Laura must go to work every day and face the man who took advantage of her condition, the man she has no way of recognizing. So she doesn't know who he is, but she's going to make him pay. Well, book lovers, if you have already read When I Find You by Emma Curtis, please share your thoughts in the comments below. When I finish reading this book, I will share with you my book review concerning this book. Well, Cat Joseph the Great Reader is still having a nap, and I keep on telling you about the next book in my November book pile. The next book in my November book pile is Mademoiselle Numéro 11 or Mademoiselle Number 11 by Kim Chi Pho. Well guys, I found this author on Instagram. We were talking about other writer and then I found out that she's a writer. I checked out her Instagram profile, I found her books and this one stuck in my memory and I thought why not read the new author. Some words about Kim Chi Pho. She was born in Vietnam from a Chinese father and Vietnamese mother. She grew up in Belgium and she has been a Parisian since 2005. Well, she was a financial director and now she's a full-time mother and writer. Well guys, I'm in love with the book cover of this book. First of all, I admire black and white style, and when you will hold this book you understand what I mean, because when you touch this book it seems as if you're holding a silk book or a velvet book. So it seems to me it's a really cute idea to create such book cover. Well, as I've got from synopsis of this book, this is a story about girl from her childhood to her grown-up life without family problems, personal challenges and so on and so forth. Actually guys, the synopsis is a sort of riddle and it's a bit blurred. That's why I will read this book and afterwards I will share my thoughts and I will give you more detailed information what this book is about. If you have already read Mademoiselle Numéro 11 or Mademoiselle Number 11 or other book, this writer has one more book, please write in the comments. I will be happy to read your opinion concerning this book and about this writer. One more book I am going to read in November is Mes Amis, Mes Amours de Marc Levy. All those who have seen my previous videos or who follow me on Instagram, you know well that Marc Levy is my favorite writer ever. I've read all his books and this one is not an exception. The point is that I read this book some years ago and now I decided to read it. Well guys, I have the French edition of this book, Mes Amis, Mes Amours de Marc Levy, Robert Laffont Edition. I'm happy because I can read it in French. I know French, I speak French and I will read this in French and happy about that because Marc Levy is a French writer. In English it sounds like My Love, My Friends by Marc Levy, and moreover I found out that there is a movie based on this book but I haven't watched it yet. If you watched this movie and read this book, tell me your opinion about that. Well, this one is an adorable romantic comedy about two lonely guys, two fathers who raise their children alone. For more comfort, they decide to move in together in London and bring up their children together. These two guys, these desperate fathers, do not believe in love anymore, so they decide to devote their lives to their children and jobs. But the fate has another plans for them. As far as I remember, I cried a bit while reading this book. I laughed out loud while reading this book, and it seems to me for all those who love novels, romantic stories and touching stories will love this book. Well, book lovers, these 4 books will accompany me in November. Mes Amis, Mes Amours, My Friends, My Love by Marc Levy, Mademoiselle Numéro 11, Mademoiselle Number 11 by Kim Chi Pho, When I Find You by Emma Curtis, and Mystères de Lisbon or Mysteries of Lisbon by Camilo Castelo Branco. I do hope I will succeed in reading these books and after that share my emotions, thoughts and reflections, my book reviews with you. Well, you have probably noticed this pad near my November book pile. So, yep, this is my favorite pad where I write down all my thoughts and reflections about the books I'm currently reading. So my happy reading is going with this pad, with this amazing, pensive, cute bag. Well, I am Khodakivska. This little fluffy creature is Cat Joseph the Great Reader. Thank you for watching our video. See you soon. Bye.